Good day and welcome back to another DBZ Dokkan medal video. In this video we are going to take a look at the physical free-to-play Yamhan, or the Astounding fusion technique Yamhan, which is a fusion between Yamcha and Tien Shinhan. So it's a pretty interesting unit overall. It's also a pretty interesting EZA. So in terms of this unit, in terms of leader skill, we have attack and defense of plus 20% per key sphere obtained, and we have greatly raises attack for one turn on his super attack. He also has attack and defense of 180% plus an additional attack of 80%, and launches an additional attack which has a medium chance of becoming a super attack when performing a super attack when HP is 80% or less. So basically, if his HP is below 80%, he will have an additional 80% attack and defense. He also has Ki plus 6 plus an additional attack of 80% and a high chance of performing a crit when HP is 80% or less once only. So for this guy, it's pretty interesting, but he's a unit that can spike quite heavily depending on how low your health is. In terms of link skills, he has Z Fighters, Infighter, Don, Array, Kamehameha, Fused Fighter, and Shattering the Limit. He also has the categories Fusions, Earthlings, Crossover, Time Limit, and Fused Fighters. I do mainly just suggest building him into critical instead of building him into additionals. The once only aspect of his high chance of critical hit doesn't necessarily help you out that much, because it's a very unique scenario. In that the first time you get below 80% health, you'll have a high chance to crit, but that's about it. And he does have additionals built in when he is below 80% as well anyway. So he's a unit that I think works better on crit, but a split here is also perfectly fine, just considering his build. We are going to try him on the crossover team, but I think crossover and fusion are going to be his best teams overall. But he's got decent linking partners on most of his teams, and there's no real passive requirement. Earthlings he'll also be more than fine on, and I think crossover, fusion, time limit's basically the same thing. So he links, he's a kind of like a 3-link kind of guy with everyone. He's not really anything more, so he's a solid unit all around. And we can see his defense is pretty good at a rainbow level. Obviously that doesn't get any higher, so he's not going to be great for long form events, but with an item that'll definitely hold up in ESBR or SBR, even if not being spectacular. In terms of damage, we'll also get a good look here. He does have support. 1.6 million is okay. It's a pretty decent attack stat, but for a unit that is EZA, it is a little bit disappointing. But we aren't below the 80% health threshold, so we should see his damage spike quite a bit once we get below there. In terms of links, Z Fighters is a very powerful link, giving him 20% attack, but it's going to be something he's not really able to activate all too often. Same with Infighter, it's a 15% attack link that he's also not going to be able to activate, and Don Ray is also pretty much a 15% attack link. So he does seem to be missing some crucial attack links, or at least not able to freely get them, which is a little bit of a bummer. Fused Fighter is pretty easy to get, Sharing the Limit is pretty easy to get, and Kamehameha are probably his easiest links. On an Earthlings team, you could definitely acquire Z Fighters. A couple Krillin units have it, and a couple, Tien units. The Tien World Tournament unit has it, and the LR Krillin has it, so that's great. I believe the LR Krillin also has Shattering the Limit, which is very, very good. So that does generally help out quite a bit. And with Sharing the Limit Z Fighters, it's an okay combination to run. So obviously we got here quite a few links. We're in the middle slot with 4 links activated. We have double supports going on in this rotation. So this will be the highest non-below 80% health threshold damage that we can get. And we're at 118,000 defense. Not bad, but not too much better. But this is probably the most ideal situation. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting attack set. We'll get a good idea of just how well Tien does defensively. Sorry, I meant offensively here, because this is without his 80% attack boost. So bear in mind, you can hit some pretty nuts stats on this guy, but for those turns where he's below 80% health. but we will get to see that, so don't worry, that will appear. Closer to 2 million, which is not too bad. Of course, none of his real abilities are active. This is one nice thing about TN, is if you do take him into a harder stage, him being below 80% is really going to help out quite a bit. If you take damage and you fall below the 80% health threshold, you should see him really produce some pretty, well, Yamhan, not TN, you should see him produce some pretty nice attack stats, and he'll get double attacks off as well, which is going to be very, very helpful. And in events like ESBR and SBR, you should spend a decent amount of time below the 80% health threshold. You shouldn't really be existing there permanently. So we've got double supports here, which is great. We've got 117,000 defense. We're just missing the one link, which is why our defense is a little bit lower. But overall, looks pretty good. We will see his highest attack stat here. So we should see a good look. But yeah, his attacking links are really going to be where we kind of struggle. If we could hit those attacking links, you'd see a huge attack stat from him. But we're not going to be able to hit it on this team. But over 3 million, so you can see that huge jump. Obviously that is bearing in mind his 1 turn additional boost, but still overall there's a very, very good 2 attack stats of 3 million and 3.5 million, even if it was for 1 turn alone from a free-to-play unit. Very, very impressive, and we should see that drop a little bit, but we'll see it drop to in the 2 millions, which is more than acceptable. So yeah, overall very, very happy with that performance from TN, or sorry, Yamhan. I keep calling him TN because of the 3 eyes, but yeah, overall pretty good performance. In terms of links for this guy, you're going to want to focus on something like Shattering the Limit. It's probably the easiest key link. Fused Fighters obviously will be more than applicable on the Fusion team, but you're going to want to focus on Shattering the Limit and Kamehameha. That's going to be the 2 easiest links to activate on any of his teams. On Earthlings, like I said, you can quite easily activate the Z Fighters. You can use it with, you know, the Krillin, things like that. Infighter is also not too hard to activate on certain teams. For example, the Tech Oob from the Battlefield, he actually has Infighter, which is pretty good, and Kamehameha, although the problem is he, you know, doesn't have Shattering the Limit as a link, which is a little bit of a shame. But he does have Fused Fighter, weirdly enough, in his transformed state, so that's something of a pairing there that you can focus on. But overall, it's a little bit of an interesting connection. He's got some interesting links, but a link set that's very diverse and is not going to be able to really be utilized as well as we would like. But overall, not too bad from Yamhan. I think he's definitely a usable unit, and for people who are struggling for fusions units, he's definitely going to be able to help you. Pandel, who's another crossover Dragon Ball Fusions unit, is a very, very good pairing partner with him, so you can definitely use her if you are feeling like you have to, or you can use the Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks or other units like that. They all share 3 links, which is very, very good for Yamhan, and if you float the route support, you can get 4 or 5 links active like how I did. But that's going to be it from me, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like, otherwise leave a comment and I'll try and reply back to it. That's going to be it from me, so take care, stay safe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.